I feel like I'm a
Okay. Is that working? I think it's working. I think my mic's working. Hello? Hello, hello. What is up or what it do? I forgot to refill my water before I went live, so I panic grabbed a Diet Coke. So there's that. Anyways, what are you all up to today? How's everyone's weekend? What's up, Akastojnik? What's up? What's up? Mitchell? Godzuki? How's it going? How's it going? Not too much. Just been busy. We have off limits today. Oh yeah, we do. Like later tonight, huh? Should be fun, hopefully. More fun than Glory League, I hope. The score was 91k to 0. They went with the strategy of we're not going to be able to win, so nobody show up. So quite literally not a single person on their team showed up. And yeah. So that was fun. So now we're 3-0, I guess. Yeah. Mitchell, are you the guy with the really fun leader? Good luck with that guy, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I actually talked to Amides about that conversation. Was it Amides? I think it was Amides because he was. I think it was Amides because it was the rider stuff. I don't believe it was somebody else. I think it was him. Anyways, I talked to him about that, and we just had a laugh about it. Good luck with that guy, brother. Good luck. Hold on, I gotta crank this up. Let's see up. What's up, Piao? Calamity, how's it going? Uh, let's try to get some kind of like back. Actually, can we go to my music at? Yerp. Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. You can only help people willing to admit that they have something to learn. Good. I enjoyed AR with you guys. Hey, man, appreciate that. I apologize. The AR was not the most eventful thing in the world. Wish that there was more that we could do, but I think Goat's strategy going into that was just simply swarm everything with all the big whales, and ROK just did not let that happen. So they got shut down pretty quick. So AR could have been a lot more fun for sure, but it was cool. I mean, I enjoyed it. I had fun, especially on Raid and Extreme Showdown. That was a lot of fun too. AR was the least fun out of the three. We've actually decided that we're gonna switch back to Elite G6 AR just because I don't know, the whole thing of like just throwing money and egos at towers was kind of eh. Just reminded me of what it was like before when we used to play Apex in every event. So we'll play Apex for what's it called? Or yeah, we'll play Apex likely in Island Raid and Extreme Showdown. But AR, I think we like our G6 home. There's enough Apex teams there anyways, but at least there's a lot more strategy involved instead of just egos. I don't know. Probably could have been more fun, maybe if we had a different matchup with like 50-90 or something like that in our Legion instead, but it's one of those things where it kind of just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, so we're just going to switch. And give me 1 second, by the way, guys. I haven't really been on my computer, so I had it playing through my speakers to let the little one watch some movies. And I'm going to switch it back to my headphones real quick so I can actually play music. One moment. If I can figure out where the hell my headphones are at. Unplug that, plug it back in. See if it sets to pop up now, maybe. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, now I got you guys on headphones. Can't really tell how loud the music is without that, so he always just says time will tell. Well, that's kind of one of the beautiful things is that when you, like, I'll ask for advice even, right? I'll ask advice from players that are older than me or have been playing as long as I have or I've played as long with. But I've been mostly focused on infantry, right? So I go to Amides for guidance on riders and whatnot all the time. Players ask me rider questions and I'll run stuff by him. You know, I'll run it off of numbers and reports and, you know, what the game says, but then, you know, I'll go to him for real world experience. I'll go to other players for range and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like you don't have to be ignorant to, you know, the fact that other players have gone through or experienced or trial and errored some of the stuff that newer players are doing. So I don't know. If you can't take feedback from some of those players, then like I said, man, good luck. I don't know. Buying OC chips and buying the discount packs for Cyber Pursuit. Oh yeah, that's right. I bought the weekly ones. I'm trying to I need to actually wrap this up so I can get I need to get the vest and the weapon too, actually, since I'm close enough for them. And then in the process, I'll get the pants as well. Might as well just get them since I'm already almost there. What's up, Real Graph? How's it going, buddy? Yeah, I saw that we didn't have much as active from other allies, but have fun. So is there a spot for me in IR or no visitors? Yeah, Island Raid will probably be the one that we'll do the mergers for. We'll still do mergers for Island Raid and Extreme Showdown. That's fine. AR is probably the one that we won't be. Actually, yeah, Blaze was just asking if he could join for IR as well, so I gotta let him know. Or let him know that he can do that. That's fine. So, yeah, you can join over for Island Raid. That's fine. No problem at all there. Yeah, nothing too crazy to report on this side, man. It's just been nothing but work, really. Pretty boring. Glad to see you're still at it. Yeah, man, I've always been here. Always been here. I haven't gone anywhere. Just just working a fuck ton, man. Just working. I got up super early this morning and could not go back to bed, so I just decided to jump on, get started with work a couple hours early. So just got off a couple hours early as well. Gave me the chance to do that. Let's see. Alright, I will apply, so I do Alliance League as well if that's okay. Yeah, I don't care, that's fine. Oh shit, yeah, I gotta register us for Alliance League too, huh? Thank you for reminding me. I would have forgotten. Let's step. Need to move people up here. Lilith is here. Lola's here for what's it called? What is that thing called? Oh, is this you applying? Yeah, I got you, brother. She was here for Glory League, so just keep her, I guess. Oh. I think we're just gonna target whatever. Really hard to say what bracket will land in because I feel like it every month. Let me double check something real quick. Hold on, sorry, before I do this. Yo, you boys joining for IR before. I'm gonna drop this message in here because I'm pretty sure if the PHX guys are coming, because Island Raid registration starts what in like 2 days, right? Well, actually, like a day and 2 hours. Loaded with RSS. Yeah, man, well, I mean, Chris, you're in the Alliance, brother. Like, we haven't really had the most extreme fights, and the fights we've had for the last, like, even this last month in Apex, like, they were eventful, but not, like, crazy. And so, like, I didn't really clear out my hospital that much. Like, my hospital would get full, and then I would just buy the healing pack or whatever and do that a few times, and so I've maybe used like a bill of resources this last month, but that's about it. Oh yeah, no, don't worry, Pio. I added you to, did I already promote you to R3? Yeah, I already promoted you. So I promoted you to R3, so you'll get selected for Island Raid and stuff, so don't worry about that. Any advice on infantry field pairs? I mean, if you just let me know what heroes you have available, I can tell you. But I mean, like your standard ones that you're going to want to have in every march now are going to be like Claude, Julian. You're going to want to have both of those in one of them. Sakura is really good if you have her transcended with at least 2 skills. Or 1 or 2 skills. Boyd is really good if you have at least 1 or 2 skills transcended. Other than that, like, you know, like Miyamoto's good. Eileen's good. Aaron's good if you have Aaron. Isabella's really good if you have Isabella. So it really just depends on what you have. Yeah, no worries at all. I got you. Calamity. I guess his garrison could do for now. We won in G10 with his garrison. Yeah, I mean, I get that you guys won, bro, but like I looked at the trades and it was kind of abysmal. And he was like, hey, you can't base the negative trades as like a deciding factor as the performance. So I said, okay, you know, like give me more information. And then he proceeded to send me a Bodala Stella rally that wasn't even the tank rally. It was like a flank rally. And then he proceeded to send me a report that actually had a good account, but the rally was only like half full or 3/4 full when it got sent. It didn't get reinforced once. So I was like, dude, like you're not, like nothing you're sending me is actually like evidence of like good performance. You're fighting half full rallies and you're fighting Stella Bodala flank rallies. Like what are we talking about? So I don't know, it was kind of interesting. Ladders, do you feel like they got the short end of the stick with Flint's armaments? May, Marco, and Jack all had some arms come out. Same rares a month later, range gets used rares and a buff for having 6. Yes and no. I mean, like, you could argue that Ryder got the short end of the stick, but, like, right before ranged came out, you would say that every other class got the short end of the stick because ranged had 1 collab set, infantry had 1 collab set, and then Riders had 2 at that point. So, like, there's, like, depending on whatever you make a statement, you're always going to say that one has the short end of the stick and one has an advantage. You fast forward 30 days past that, then all of a sudden Range has the new armaments and the new, you know, the new upgrade system and all that stuff. So now you could be like, oh, well, now, like, you could say, oh, Riders are the short end of the stick, but Riders still have the May set, the Jack set, you know, and their normal superbs, while infantry have only had the Marco set and the normal superb. So really the short end of the stick is handed to infantry, right? But I don't think that it has anything to do with short ends of the stick. I think that it's just simply like this is the new baseline for what the game is going to be. So the fact that you can use these enhancement stones, which you can get from the normal store, here, premium packs. The fact that you can purchase these now means that the hone inheritance stuff and all that kind of all those basically components of the game are now being introduced that will come out in the future. So next will come infantry or rider, and then the other, and then it just becomes the new thing. You know, whoever gets it first is going to reap the benefit for a while. Whoever gets it second will also reap the benefit for, you know, the short bit. And then whoever gets it third, we got the short end of the stick, really, right? But we'll all get it eventually, so it is what it is. Finally got my OC chips 3-star. Hey, congrats. Also here, Julia is effective against Nova, Ethan, Garrison. I mean, that was Julia's whole kit to begin with, was that, like, she was just good in terms of anybody that is like dependent on their rage skills. I mean, silencing them is pretty solid, so it doesn't surprise me. But while it does kind of suppress the fact, it doesn't really like full suppress in terms of silence. All it does is just delay it, and then you kind of just get back-to-back rage skills that go off. So I feel like it can be effective, but I don't know, it kind of depends. Am I able RL? What you talking about? Well, we'll look at that. Silences them. 60% chance of being immune to taking increased damage. Does Nova Ethan cause increased damage at all? Is there like a debuff for increased damage taken? I can't remember. No. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's just one of those things where like Nova Ethan is great right now, and then the new Rider heroes will be a pretty solid answer to that. And then same thing after that, then the infantry will be a solid answer. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, it reduces damage taken, so that's flat damage. Reduces target skill damage. Yeah, so I mean, me talk is the answer to that. I don't remember if I saw Blaze's phone number or I just texted him. I might, from when we got drinks. Will I get any of the new Rider heroes? Probably not. Considering the fact that I have a leader set, 2 infantry, and I'm waiting for the new infantry collab set to come out to have a third. That's 3 infantry and 1 ranged, because I'll have the full range set as well. I just need 3 more pieces. So considering the fact that I'll have 3 ranged, like Riders won't really be on my, like I'll have 4 infantry or 3 infantry, 1 leader, 1 ranged. Well, so really 4 infantry, 1 ranged when the new infantry set comes out. And then Riders will mostly just, like, this one's always been like my weakest march anyways, so I'll probably just turn this into like a 60% move speed march and just use that in like AR or something. I don't really have any reason to use it. But I do need to get this rare hone, this rare hone, this rare hone, and then these 3 pieces as well. And then the rare hone's on that one too. So I gotta work on some other stuff. Riders are kind of like the last thing I'm worrying about right now. I don't foresee any future of ever really needing them on this account, at least. I do want to build out the range set. I'm debating, and I was talking about this with MSR actually, about getting Nova all the way done, since I pretty much have Ethan all the way done. I think I'm missing 1 skill. Yeah. So I've debated on doing it since I have the other range set also. I have more than enough stuff to get this to white, and then almost all of these, if not all of them, to white as well. I'm just waiting for the infantry TC for the new infantry hero. And then, yeah. My defense and stuff is balanced as 23-23, and this one's about to be 23 as well. So I've been balancing it out, and it'll be quick to get this from 15 to 20. It would probably only take like one district showdown. Can I see all your beasts? Yeah, I don't really care. I have him. I have all of them. Titan's not level 100. Well, about to be level 100, but potential's all the way done as well. I mean, Kong's potential's all the way done. Pluto's potential's all the way done. Bull's potential's all the way done. Fango's potential's all the way done. Itachi's potential's all the way done. So I mostly just cycle between these 5 plus 6 with Titan, mostly those 6. Primarily these two and these two. I'm working on a grass OC chipset right now. As a third OC set. So we'll get there. Want to see something kind of funny? Hold on. Screenshotted this the other day. This is on the world rankings. I don't know if it's gonna. Oh, there it goes. Bang! World ranking. It was on the front page for like 24 hours. It was sick. I had a bunch of people messaging me about it. I was like, what? What are you talking about? And I went and looked at the world rankings, and lo and behold. So yeah, it seems like the world ranking stuff just shifts around. But it's cool. 24 hours of being in the top spot. It's kind of sick. What to do? What to do? Is there this stupid event? Nope. Not for 3 days. Use Chiron and Hammer for field fighting. I don't have Chiron. I do use Pango and Bull, yes. I mostly use Otachi and Pluto, and I've kind of been rotating between who leads and who supports to kind of play around with it and see which one I like better. Otachi leading seems to do better in short fight windows. Pluto Jellyfish, if you're in long fight windows and like long team fights, Pluto Jellyfish is absolutely insane. Because you can get this corrosion to proc 3 times in 1 second. Plus this, you get like 2,000% skill damage total. It's ridiculous. But you got to be in team fights for like at least 30 seconds. So, but if you can get there, it's disgusting. Unless if you're not able to do that, then Otachi lead is solid because you can get 3 corrosion stacks or 3 corrosion procs with these two in your first 3 seconds. And get the 174% bonus corrosion damage immediately, which works with the 33% here. So you get over 200% corrosion damage in your first 3 seconds with Otachi lead. So for short windows, I like Otachi leading Pluto. For longer team fight windows and stuff, I like Pluto leading. If I'm not doing anything in particular... like if, for example, if I'm doing like the beast search thing, sometimes I'll do Otachi and Pango because they're crit based, and then I'll run Pluto and Bull because they're combo based, and I'll just run that. It's mostly because this one's almost done. This one I think I'm missing. Oh no, I finished it out. Oh no, sorry, it's not that set. It's this set. I'm missing 1 chip here. So I need 1 more chip and I'll have this one finished out. Then I can go back and finish out this set for Bull. But I have this OC chip set done and this OC chip set done. Would you suggest I complete my 5551 Aaron or awaken new rider Hero Maxwell? I'm trying to remember. Does Aaron require 2-to-1 frags? I think Aaron requires 2-to-1 frags, right? When you're doing the exchange. Actually, I haven't really looked into Maxwell that much. Reduction. Oh, this is the one where if he's moving faster than you. Oh yeah. See, if I do play field, I might actually want to get him because that's pretty solid. Yeah. Decreases travel speed. Yeah. See, I might actually want to get Maxwell. For if I do that move speed set. Maxwell's really solid. I probably would take Maxwell over Aaron just because, like, especially if you're focused on like 1, 2, maybe 3 marches with Ryder, Maxwell would fit in better. If you have at least 3 marches already in field and you're looking for a 4th or 5th, Aaron would just make your first march extremely strong, and then you can move Maxwell down the line. I would say, yeah, I would do I would do Maxwell first if you only have 3 or less really strong armament sets, and then Aaron first if you have 3 or more armament sets that you're using in field. That way you can kind of move Maxwell, because Maxwell is going to be really important anyways. But, well, both of them will be really important, but Maxwell kind of has a bit more flexibility to him that you can use with like the move speed and stuff. And so there's a little bit more flexibility of play style. Whereas with Aaron, it's like you're just going to have to go like raw damage pretty much. Like she's just extremely strong at trading in the field, but it's going to require a strong armament set, and it's a 2-to-1 cost. I don't think you can get Otachi anymore. You had to have gotten it during the collab event, the Pacific Rim collab event. I'm prepping for 2 3-mil marches. If you're doing 2 3-mil marches, yeah, I would probably, since you're that early on, I would say get Max, just because, especially like when you're just starting out, it's unless you have the money during the events to get Aaron using cash for the packs and stuff, usually the 2-to-1 exchange isn't worth it, because you can get 2 heroes for the same cost, right? And starting out, you want to have more heroes available to have that flexibility to switch around your hero pairs and stuff. Deer, I plan on having deer for Garrison. Yes, that's why I'm working on the grass set. It was kind of last in line for me. I was debating for a long time if I was going to have a 3rd OC chip set, and I ultimately decided recently that I will, and I'll slow build it. So I'm slow building Gaia Deer next. I just got to level him to 100, and then once I do that, then I can dump into here. I also don't want to do it right away, though. The part of the reason why I'm slow doing it, even though I have some potential and like all the greens and stuff like that saved up, is because there will be another collab beast that comes eventually, and it's looking like it'll be a water one, since grass has 2 collabs already. It's either going to be a water one or fire one. Fire got the most recent one with Kong, and grass already has 2, so I'm hoping it's water. And I'm also hoping that because I have the full OC chip set and then this other set done as well. So because of that, I kind of want to save up the potential stuff. That way when it does come out, if it is water, I can just get it and just level it up immediately. What's up, Rox? How's it going, buddy? What's up, Rox, buddy? Yeah, man. I was going to say, it's probably an odd hour for you, isn't it? But I appreciate you stopping by. Hope you're doing well always, my man. How's retirement treating you? Or semi-retirement, because I found out you're still playing. What's up, Bad Get? How's it going, brother? And this is what I'm talking about. How do you just look at that and cipher every metric synergy in the game? Am I just bad at game math? No, I wouldn't say that at all. You have to kind of understand it from this point of view, right? So it's a couple factors, at least on my end. One, I've been playing this game, just this game, for 1,315 days, right? So I've been playing this game as an R5 for almost 4 years. In 4 months, it'll be 4 years. And prior to that, I've played games like this, like Rise of Kingdoms, Call of Dragons, State of Survival, Mobile Strike, all the rest of them, right? And a lot of these game mechanics and factors were all in those games too. So I've already been in that mindset for the last decade plus playing mobile games like this. 2, I'm an analyst by trade, and so my 8 hours that I do at work, I'm already in that mindset as well, right? So I'm just a very analytical person. So it's kind of just like, that's like my natural thought process. And I've been doing videos like on this game and guides and helping people and stuff for 3 years now. We're close to. And so if you have a question on something, odds are I've already been asked that question, or if somebody else has asked a similar question, or if you haven't, or if I haven't been asked that question, it intrigues me even more because now I want to find an answer for it, right? So, yeah, I would say that it's mostly just because I'm always like in that headspace already. Oh, nice. Hell yeah. How was H&B? Who did you guys play in H&B Pompeii? Did you guys get a good matchup? Our Glory League was pretty boring, unfortunately. They went with the strategy of, oh, we're not going to be able to beat these guys. So quite literally, not a single player showed up on the map. Not a single one. So we just had to farm and stuff and ended up with 91,000 points to 0. Oh, actually, here, hold on a minute. Pause. It looks like Armored made a video on it. So Armored GG, the YouTuber, is actually in our Glory League team, and I think he just made a video on it. Let me pull it up here. How do I? Here we go. Hold on. Yeah, dude, like straight up, not a single person out of their team showed up, and this was at the start. So we had another 14 people or pop in, so we had a full 30 or full team of 30, and yeah, straight up, they didn't have a single person jump into the map, and so I was like, oh, okay, cool. I gotta translate that to English. One moment. Sorry, Baguette. I see you and Charlie or Charles's messages. Give me one moment. Greetings from the OU Alliance in Region 153. Oh, well, hello. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Bad could just because we crossed. TDH is 8 bill versus 16 bill H&B. Oh, boy. Can I send you an arena report? And... oh, I got a fucking hair in my mouth. The fuck? There we go. That was weird. Can I send you an arena report and see my heroes pairing? Maybe need a bit tweaking. You can help me with. Yeah, I'm happy to. No worries at all. See, I also can get range 2 pieces, but it would be my 4th March or so, and with purple parts and rider focused vehicle. Would you say I do that or just complete my rider superbs and beasts? So let me ask you one follow-up question, Mosen. Odds are the answer is going to be the same. But I'll ask you a question, and I'll give you my proposed answer before you answer, and then after you answer, if my answer changes, I'll let you know. But my question is, what G bracket do you play in? Now, I'm going to follow that question up with a partial answer already and say that you typically don't want to send a March into the field in the current meta and the current state of the game or any of that stuff unless it's at least 3 to 4 mil. 3 mil if you're on the higher end of fearless brackets, maybe like the budding brackets, or you're just like in a newer region, newer account. If that's all you can do, that's fine. But because of the state of the game, how strong beasts are, armaments are, refinery, all the rest of those things, I would not recommend pushing a March into the field unless it's at minimum 3 mil, 4 mil if you're playing an elite. Now, with that in mind, if you can suffice a 4th March that has 4 mil or whatever have you, then great. You know, you can do that. But if not, you're going to get a lot more benefit and a lot more reward out of investing to get all your other marches to at least 4 mil and honestly pushing more towards 5 mil than creating a 4th 3 mil march, right? Because if that 4th 3 mil march goes out there, yes, you're going to pick up some more kills, but it's going to come at the cost. And that cost, as soon as you get targeted, is going to be very costly. You're going to pick up minimal kills for a high amount of cost that it takes to actually put that or heal up that march and put it back into the field. As opposed to if you increase your other marches, you might only go up 1 mil, 750k, whatever it is in those marches. Yes, it may not seem like a lot, but because of the performance changes that you'll do, you'll start to get far better trades, meaning that you can last longer, you'll go through resources slower, you'll go through speed up slower, and then it's just, for one, it's a better experience all in all. Dude, I love Armored, man. That guy's hilarious. Region 2, are they still having a region war? He was talking about it when he was in the Alliance earlier, actually. Oh, here, let me clear this out real quick. I hate these notifications, sorry. These things bug the shit out of me. 3, okay. Region 2. So here's the thing. I have not seen or played against Doom as an Alliance ever since the second island raid ever. The second island raid ever, when Island Raid came out on this game, we played against Doom. and I have not seen them since. Zero, I actually took a rally from him because he's from SSI. I have a rally report against him from Island Raid last month. For a beginner, which legendary beast would you recommend? Fire, grass, water, or physical? I would. Okay, let me say it like this. Since you're a beginner, if rally or garrison is in the future of your account, and I say that lightly because if you choose to be a rally or garrison main, it comes with a price tag. But if that is something that you are actively going to work towards and that you want to do, then a Pango or Bull is non-negotiable. You cannot rally or garrison without it. So if there's even a chance that you plan on rallying or garrison in the future, work on physical first. If not, I would work on fire or water, leave grass out of it, because grass requires you to get targeted to proc counter. Now, when your marches get targeted, they die fast, meaning that you won't get much benefit out of counter, right? In the field, at least. So I would focus on the combo or crit aspect of fire or water. And if I had to choose between those two, the game gives you a lot of free copies and opportunities to get, like, the Rhino, for example, from, say, like, Beast Invasion. You can get quite a few copies from here. So that would be a naturally easier choice to pick because you can build that up faster. A friend has a tier 10 Bull and a tier 5 Pangolin. At what order should he use these beasts for garrison? T5 Pangolin leading or T10 Bull leading? Both legendaries. I would say probably lead with the Pango because it gets more... Yeah, because you're talking about garrison. He gets more perks out of being in garrison as lead than he provides as support. So I would still lead with the T5 Pango. Typically, I tell someone not to put a gold beast as lead until T7, but it's T5, so it's close enough, and it gets a lot of the perks from being a garrison, so that'll help offset some of the lost damage that you get by not being T7, so I would do that one first. I would lead with the Pango. I play in higher elite, and so you're suggesting to run fewer but stronger marches instead of diverse marches. Yes, absolutely. One, it's a game. This game at the end of the day is a game of attrition, right? You can only last as long in an event as your resources and your speed ups allow you to. The minute you run out of speed ups, the minute that you run out of resources and stuff, unless you have a credit card to back it up, you are out of the game. You are tapped until you go back to region, farm resources, get speed ups, yada yada yada. So you want to minimize the amount of time that it takes to go through your speed up and your resource reserves. And the only way to do that is to increase your armaments to a certain threshold before you utilize them in the field. So if your 3 marches that you're using right now aren't at a 4 mil, pushing 5 mil minimum, I would work on those first. I would get them all to at least a 4 mil minimum first off. After that, I would probably push all 3 to 4.5 before I even consider doing a 4th march. I'm thinking to rally after a few months, then yes, I would absolutely start off with the Bull, then 100%. The reason why is because eventually you will get into the rally position, and Bull or Pango, when leading, says in their 3rd skill, when in a rally or garrison, increases own attack or defense based on the number of troops in the squad, up to a maximum 400% of own attributes. So you basically take this attack and defense and you multiply it by 4x. There's no other way for you to get 400% of a stat. Doesn't matter how many chips that you use, how many core potential and stuff like that you use, any of that stuff. That is a free 4x that you get to all your stats. That way, every single time that you get research in your base, so you go to the development screen here, every time that you grab one of these to increase defense or attack or whatever have you, just by having that talent, it 4x is the benefit. So it's a non-negotiable that you need to have that. Grass piece any good as support from multi-rallies due to counter? Yes, it's the best thing in the game. Gaia Deer plus Grass OC chips is still the best garrison because of the behavior of counter. And the way that primarily around the reason, the primary reason around that is because of the behavior of OC chips in general, and that being the Grass OC chips. So for Grass OC chips, specifically at 4-piece, when you get it maxed out or even long before that, every counter attack has a chance to grant you 1 stack. Stacks up to 20 times, you get 4.5% leader skill damage and 3% counter damage per stack up to 20. Now, the way that these OC chip stacks work is that you get one and it starts a 6-second timer, right? If you get another stack during those 6 seconds, you go up +1 stack and you refresh the timer. So you want to have as high of a counter as possible to keep these stacks going when it comes to this. And grass works extremely well in Garrison because you're taking so many attacks typically from swarms or multi-rallies, so it's a lot more chances to actually proc that and maintain this max 20 stacks the full time. So you get to the max stacks faster and you can maintain the stacks longer. Okay, so now let's circle back to Twitch chat. Close to midnight in France. Oh yeah, for rocks probably is. Wanted to ask how lethal or lethality and block work, and at what point should you start investing in it to see the gains? So you should invest in it right away and invest in as much of it as possible. The reason is that your attack and defense stats that you can get also in Hones are your base stat multipliers, right? So what I mean by that is that if I go in here to train a... Actually, I need to train more real quick anyways. If I go in here to train a T6 troop, right, and I select one, and I click this I, this white number right here is your base stat, right? That is the base stat of the troops, right? For infantry, you'll see that their highest base stat is HP, then defense, and then attack. The green is your attack percentage multiplier. So if I go over here to your base and you click buff, click on this button here, infantry attack 296.4. I'm getting all this attack from things like buildings, items, technology, VIP, vehicle, whatever, right? All of that 297 amount. If you multiplied this base number by 297 point whatever 5%, it equals this green number. So you're already getting a lot of attack, as this shows, attack percentage, to increase that multiplier, right? You're getting it from all these different things, and as heroes come out, you get more attack and such, and their skills and their talents, yada, yada, yada. Okay? There's only one place in the game to get lethality and block, which is a completely separate bucket of multiplier as is. So because there's only one place to get it, and it is still a multiplier that multiplies against attack, against the base stats, all those things, since it's its own bucket, you want to get as much of it as possible to maximize that multiplier. And then you can target attack in things like refinery. You get attack from your equipment, your parts. You get attack again from your hero skills, your skins, yada, yada, yada. So I would max it as much as possible. Did people send you reports for possible in the Rick bug? Yes, I just haven't gone through all of them. I got some from Extreme Showdown. I got a couple from Glory League. I just need to go through them. I've just been busy. I haven't had a chance to. What beast do I rally with? I rally with Bull and Otachi. Or, sorry, not Otachi, but Pluto. So I take my OC chips from Pango and my OC chips from here. And I put it on like this. And I put it on like this. And I remove this. And I go like this. Like this. And then that is my rally beast. I primarily garrison though, so I typically just remove this, put it here, go like this. This becomes my garrison beast with 66% crit, 61% combo, 50% counter. And then for counter rallies, I will run a pair like this. And this has 49% crit, 75% combo, 130% combo damage. So that's usually what I run in terms of like when I'm in garrison or counter rally, that kind of thing. Also, Z, I built a cat +11, Rhino +7. I was thinking about building a Pango for cat support because he does similar as Rhino on support and has crit reduction combo, and Rhino could be second lead. Honestly, like, you don't need to build a Pango or a Bull unless you're going to be rallying or garrisoning. Them as support in field and stuff, or even leading in field, is very mid-tier, like very meh in terms of performance. You'll get a lot more out of running beasts, like even just like cross-element beasts, right? Like you could run, say, for example, like I'm talking like whale status here, but you could run a Chiron lead who a lot of his leader skill benefits from crit, but his active skill supports or gets a lot from combo, and then pair that with something like Otachi support with combo chips, where he passively gives 85% crit damage, but then his chips also give combo, and so it's a cross element like benefit. Like there's a lot when you think about Beast. Like there's actually a lot to it that you can do, and it's very flexible. But I wouldn't touch physical beasts unless you're rallying or garrisoning. Same thing with grass, really. You don't need to touch grass. That's funny. You don't need to touch grass unless you plan on playing garrison with like a Gaia Deer, or if you have the Titan, then yes, you can go the grass element with like a combo chipset for Titan. What's up, Karmjeet? How's it going? Hi, Z. I want an explanation. Looking at the beast, King Kong, for example, supports crit damage and combo. Now, I want to know if the chip I assigned to it, for example, if the hands are combo and the legs are crit, is this correct? Or should I have a full set of either crit or combo? Which of these is better? So it depends on who you're supporting him with, right? I think that Kong support is better than Kong lead because he is the only fire beast of the two, Chiron and Kong, that can actually generate detonate stacks as a support beast. So he actually generates bonus damage. So here he can generate detonate, it deals bonus damage. Chiron generates detonate stacks, but he only does it as a lead beast. He doesn't do it as support. So I think that it depends on who you pair him with. You can see that Kong, like what you need to primarily look at when you're looking at beast pairing is what triggers your support beast skill. For Kong, it is combo. So ideally, you would want to pair him with someone else that likes combo a lot. Like, for example, Pluto Jellyfish, or the Crab, or Chiron, or the Titan, for example. Anybody that is primarily operated around combo and builds combo, he will benefit from because he likes having high combo, so then you make sure you trigger his support skill. If you're not triggering your support beast's active skill, that's just a whole skill of damage. Like half of your damage is just not being dealt. So it's primarily focused, or it's a primary focal point for you to make sure that both of your beasts are always dealing damage. So to your question of like how should you build it out, I think that it depends on who you're pairing it with, and if that beast that you're pairing it with already has a lot of combo. If you're pairing him with something like Titan, where if we just go to max here and we select Titan, you'll see that he gets 525 combo naturally, or Pluto, where they get 420 combo naturally. Then you could probably build one full 4-piece combo set on him or the lead beast, and then build full crit on him or crit on the lead, whatever it may be, to have that, like, you know, that mix factor basically. Same thing here. Like if you're gonna say put it behind a Saber or Rhino, where they build crit, and a lot of their stuff builds from crit, you're going to want to make sure that you have one crit set on one of them and one combo set on the other. I wouldn't cross hybrid a 2-piece and a 4-piece on one person. Because you were saying, hold on, I got to go back to your messages. If the hands are combo and the legs are crit, no, I wouldn't do that because the 4-piece is very beneficial. So if I go here, for example, on this gold set, and I go to 2-piece, it gives me 4.5% combo damage. If I decide to do a 2-piece and a 2-piece of 5 stars, I end up with a good amount of combo and a good amount of crit, but no damage behind it. So I can crit, I can proc crit, and I can proc combo all day long, but if I don't get bonus damage from it, all I'm doing is an extra attack. But if I have the 5-star, it increases my combo damage by 73%. And leader skill by 33%, both of which that combo deals bonus combo damage and then can crit, or the leader skill can then crit as well. So you want to have the active 4-piece on both your lead beast and your support beast, because this 4-piece array is extremely beneficial in terms of how much damage you do. This 2-piece, while yes, you're increasing the rate that you do something, the actual damage that it does is far, far less if you don't have a 4-piece bonus. What's up, Oasis? How's it going? Do you ever rally or garrison? Those are my main functions. So I was talking earlier about SSI. So this is... they put him in there. Oh, wait, this is their other guy. Hold on. Oh, I don't have that report name. Oh, there he is, Zero. Is this Zero's tower or is this Bees' tower? This is Bees' tower. So Bees is max as well. But Zero was garrisoning another tower. I don't have the report from that one. But yeah, I rally and garrison. Like that's all I do. All I do is rally and garrison for the most part. I'll play field, yes, but my primary role is to rally or garrison. Thoughts on the new rider heroes? I mean, other than the fact that Range got the new set, I mean, just like mechanically wise, Metalk and her kit is the counter to the what's it called? The Nova Ethan Garrison, especially primarily around the fact that she reduces the skill damage it's taken by 20%. Well, skill damage it's dealt from them by 20%, and then she also reduces the damage taken from range squads by 12%. Like, that's a whole 1/3 of the high amount of damage that Nova and Ethan are doing, just eliminated immediately just from those two things alone. Before you talk about 40% defense, before you talk about 50% HP, like, she's mitigating a lot of that skill damage already. So it very much is an answer to that garrison. No Raigoro Garrison, no fun. Dude, I miss myself some Raigoro Garrisons, man. I wish that they would bring out a skin that would modify the skills and bring back to life Raigoro and Thunder. I think that would be really cool. I have Felix. Holy shit. Hold on. I have Felix, Janet, Elena, Daryl, all awakened. Which of these heroes are the best as a leader to rally? I have Rubina 41111. Should I awaken her or save my frag? I mean, if you want to ride a rally, you need Rubina. Rubina is absolutely disgusting in rallies. Rubina and Janet does well for like AoE. Rubina Elena does well if you're like a second or third rally as a flank rally because she gets bonus flank damage. Rubina and Daryl does okay. But the problem is that the AoE reduction that Daryl provides doesn't apply to his own march, so it's not nearly as effective. So Rubina Felix is just raw, like consistent damage. Rubina Janet has the AoE factor. Rubina Elena has the flank factor if you're a second or third rally or a counter rally. So there's reasons to use any of them, but in any of the situations, you need to have Rubina, yes. Z, if you had full creative control for one patch beyond bug fixes, what single system or feature would you design to keep free-to-play spenders and vets all engaged and respected long-term? For one, I would reduce the healing costs of everything in the game. Healing costs in terms of speed-ups and healing costs in terms of resource costs. I think that the number one thing that kills this game is that you have all these events back-to-back-to-back. Extreme Showdown, Island Raid, Archipelago Raid, any of these things. And you can't talk about extending those events, making them more fun, making them more engaging, without talking about the fact that it is so punishing right now to try to fight long-term in an event. Unless you have deep pockets, you don't get to last 72 hours in a fight, right? Like right now in AR, for example, you queue up the event, you register, you play for 5 days, but the first 3 days, 4 days, you're hiding behind a gate that you can't go past to fight in Tower Wars. Now people want to say, oh, I want to have those taken down and make it more eventful so where you're fighting 5 days a week. I agree with that. But the problem is that the healing costs that you incur in the 12 hours that you actually are fighting makes it unsustainable to even remotely consider playing and fighting consistently for 4 or 5 days and then going straight into the next event of Island Raid or whatever it is, just a few days later. So I think that they need to reduce the healing cost factor, reduce the amount of cost it takes for resources and speed ups to heal your troops. That way, for free-to-play players and small spenders, they can still have the joys of fighting and fighting events, but they still have the reserves to be able to spend, resources and speed ups and such to train new troops to stay competitive in Top Commander and such, and, score points to get new heroes and that kind of a thing. Otherwise, you're expecting them, if they want to play in a fighting alliance, to expend all of their speed ups, all their resources on the fighting event, and then have nothing for the TC and those types of things to either A, recoup the troops that they lost just from like a sustainability standpoint, or two, if they actually want to compete and actually get those new heroes, they don't have the reserves to be able to do that. So right now you force those players to pick, like, do I want to be competitive and enjoy the fighting aspect of the game, or do I want to hold a reserve so I can stay competitive for heroes? And I don't think that that's really fair to those players. I think that they should be able to do both without feeling punished in one side or the other. That would be where my focus is if I could have control for a patch. Bro, is event beasts like Kong are stronger than regular legendary beasts? Can I use legendary beast copies to level up these beasts? Yes, you can use regular legendary beasts. Like, so I used a full saber. I put that into Kong, so then it fully maxed out Kong and stuff like that. I sacrificed Saber for Kong. So yes, you can use those. Are they stronger? Yes. For one, they just have far stronger skills and stuff like that from the base. Two, they get these passives that no other beast gets. You can see none of the others have it, just the collab beasts. So they get like an extra passive. And then two, it's the hybrid. So you typically used to think of grass and have it be counter. Well, now you have grass and combo. You think of fire as crit. Well, now you have fire and combo as a primary for Kong. You think of water and you think combo, but now you have water and crit with Otachi. So it has that cross factor as well. So then it makes it more flexible to compare them with other elements without having to pair the same elements to get, full benefit. So let's see. So for the problem is I am Rider and run Fire Beast. There's too many infantry and water beasts in the field, so how could I counter them if not Pango's support? The fire side of things aren't nearly as crippled by just fighting water beasts. You're losing trades because of the simple fact that their beasts are probably better than yours. I run raw water all day long or whatever have you, which yes can counter fire, but in terms of like water beats fire, fire beats earth, like we're playing Pokemon or something, I would just trade neutral with other water beasts, but that's not the case at all. You beat other beasts because you're stronger than them. So you don't need the physical beast to counter the fire, because what you're making up for the fact of not being punished by not having water thrown at fire, you're being punished because 3/4 of a physical beast skills are tiered towards garrison or rallies and not field. So all of this right here, or really this top 2/3, is all rally or garrison based, right? Down here in the bottom, you get the 15% attack, but the second half requires you to be in a rally, right? You go over here and it says when triggering a combo against a garrison target, right? So everything that you're gaining in terms of not having water versus fire, but instead physical versus fire, you're losing astronomically more by having all these skills from your support beasts be tailored towards rallies or garrison, which are not in to begin with. So it doesn't really make much sense to do that, Mosin. Yeah, no worries at all, Nix. Do I do rally and garrison at the same time? Yeah, I garrison and then I counter rally, or I garrison to make sure they can't move us, but then we have forward pressure at the same time, so then they can't just funnel all their... So here's the thing. If you're just getting hit in garrison without setting a rally, you're allowing them to funnel all their troops into just that rally. And if you have the majority... Like, if you have more players online than they do and you have field presence, that's a waste of time. You should be taking the garrison and then also applying counter pressure, so then you split their troops. They don't have nearly as many troops to keep that rally full or that garrison full. So yes, I do take garrisons while rallying at the same time, or I counter rally. It really just depends on the event. Best garrison setup for beasts is Pango Gaia. If you can get Grass OC chips, then yes. It's Gaia plus OC chips are best for multi-rally and swarm situations. You can argue, and it shows in their performance as well, that if there are no swarms and there are no multi-rallies, then the combo from like a water OC chipset or whatever have you can perform extremely well also, because you don't care about the counter nearly as much. You're only fighting one target, so you get more benefit out of a combo or a crit based build. Is Claude good for rally? Claude is good if you are a support type rally. So like for me, when I'm rallying as a tank rally, I typically just want to make sure that I trade even. But especially if I'm in like AR, for example, where I know that I can trade decent with the tower, but I know that like what I'm getting in terms of putting a second or support in my rally that deals more damage, I'm going to get less out of that than if I was to take Claude and buff the second and third rallies that are typically rider or ranged, also hitting the tower, while also HP cutting the tower with Claude. Then I'll use Claude. So in multi-rally situations where I've got a second and third rally doing raw damage to the tower and they're not taking damage, I'll use Claude to buff them and debuff the tower. But in like 1v1 situations, I'll typically use like Master Gen or something to increase my own performance. I just gotta make sure we didn't have anyone else join. Okay, Akil, what's up? How's it going? Would you say Armored is this game's news network? Dude, Armored is the, what do you call it? The reporter that's like out there standing in the middle of the tornado, like while the tornado is happening like 10 feet away, and you're like, what the fuck are they doing out there? Like they should be in cover. Yeah, that's armored, dude. He's in the shit and it stinks every single time that something is happening. You always know that something is happening in the game because Armored will post a video. Yeah, Knifehead gets forgotten because his kit is like it was solid, but then it was just outclassed way too quickly. Like in terms of like a support beast, he doesn't offer nearly as much as Otachi, and even as a lead beast, I feel like he doesn't. Like I feel like Knifehead is one of those that should probably be reworked, um, in terms of performance. Rubina and the new rider here, Citro, is going to be insane. Yeah, it's going to be disgusting. Yeah, no worries at all, brother. Happy to help. Bro, what does it mean when a beast skill description says, for example, skill multiplier 550%? Does it mean it increases the skill damage from heroes? No. So there is no correlation between beasts um, and heroes. Like it's just its own skill set. What it's likely doing is taking the base damage that your beast does and then just multiplies it by a factor of 5.5 times, and that's its skill damage factor. And I think that probably kind of shows. I don't know, because it's hard to say because there is no like basic attack for a beast, right? Like you're either dealing an active skill damage or you're dealing a leader skill damage, and active skills even have percentage multipliers against them. So I honestly don't know what it's multiplying against, but beasts and beasts and your troops have no correlation. There is no relationship or correlation between them at all. What I assume that it's doing is that it's taking a multiplying factor of all of your base or your beast stats, attack, defense, damage, all that kind of stuff, creating a damage factor out of that, multiplying that against your enemy's defense, HP, damage reduction, all those things to get a final factor, and then multiplying that by, say, 250% for an active skill or 550% for a lead or whatever the multipliers are. I'm pretty sure that that's how it's doing the math. It's creating a formula in the background of your offensive stats versus their defensive stats. That generates a number in terms of how much damage you would do in relationship to each other, and then multiplies that against the skill multiplier. So like 240% in this case, or up to 900% in the leader skill. No, you're good, Karmjeet. Like honestly, it's a learning process for all of us. You think the Genesis War was better than Extreme Showdown? You had a bad matching the first day, but the rest were, and you were getting better rewards. There are things that I like and dislike about both. I liked that with Genesis War, it was kind of like a bracketed system. You played one, that was a qualifier. You played two, that was a qualifier. And then depending on how you did, you got better rewards or worse rewards or whatever have you. I liked that. But I didn't like that we were stuck to 14 UTC because that was just impossible for a lot of players in many regions to play, especially on a weekday, since it was a 3-day event. Because typically you would fight like on, what was it, like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? So like you're in the middle of a work week for mostly everybody anyways, and you're doing it at a very odd hour. That sucked. So I like the time picking factor of Extreme Showdown. I would like if they had Genesis War, like say on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead of like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday or whatever it was. So I do like that multi-day, you do better, you get better rewards kind of factor. But I like the time picking factor of Extreme Showdown. So I don't know. There are things I like or dislike about both. Yeah, exactly. They could add different time slots for the main battle if that was a problem. Yeah. Which is better, lead support for Rhino and Cat? Oh god, I don't know because I don't use either of them. I think if I remember right, the Rhino is more crit damage based and the other one is more crit proc based. Crit damage 15. Residual damage if it deals a crit. Hey, baby. And this one actually increases your crit rate plus some crit damage. So I would say that if you have, like, if your chips aren't that great, you have a low proc rate, use Saber lead because he gets more plus crit in terms of crit chance. Or no, sorry, I think I'm looking at that as support. One sec. Yeah, sorry. I got that backwards. So if your chips are low and you have a low crit chance, Saber support gives plus 100 crit as the active skill, and then plus 150 crit as the second skill or the third skill, however you want to call it, and then even more crit from the last skill. So Saber support gives you a ton of crit to make up for not having fully developed chips. Whereas with Rhino, he has more just raw crit damage. So if you have high crit chance from your chips and you just need more damage, then that's fine there. It provides additional crit damage. Yeah, so it supports the same thing. So I don't know if you're talking about using both or just which one to lead in general, but I would say support with Saber and lead with Rhino. Did you reply to my question about counter chips? I went out for 3 or 4 minutes. What was your question? I don't see a question from you about counter chips. Go to live chat. I don't see any comments in here from you about counter chips, brother. If it helps, Rhino Max has 5-second leader skill proc, 1065 crit. If you have 1065 crit, I'd probably just lead with Rhino. Get the bonus crit damage out. Actually, does Saber has crit damage, right? Hold on. Yeah, lead wise, damage plus. With wildfire. If using the skill with wildfire. Oh, when it deals a critical hit, gains wildfire. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I would probably lead with Saber at that point because he would put himself into wildfire. He would gain the attack, gain the crit, increases his crit damage, increases his damage factor here by 70. So what is that? Like 33%. So a 30% increase in his active skill damage at 15% attack, 19% crit damage gain, and up to 25% bonus on his leader skill as well. Yeah, I would lead with Saber. I would lead with Saber at that point. And then, yeah, if you have the support for Rhino, if you're running those two together, then you get the raw crit damage from Rhino anyways. So, the beast chips are like hero armaments, right? Did the beast chips on support beasts not work? No, they work still. They work. You inherit the base stats on chips, so the attack and defense side of things, you gain at up to, what is like 80% or 70% or something like that from your research. I can't remember what it is now. It's 80 or 70%. 20%, and then however much else before. Yeah, I think it's like 70% or 80% or something like that. So you get those stats, but in terms of like the arrays, like the 4-piece array bonuses and 6-piece array bonuses and stuff, you get those at 100%. So they do work, yes, for lead beast. Does it make sense for a low spend player to invest in the cyber event, even though it means getting the 3 ranged superbs only and push a little bit more? Yeah, because I mean those 3 ranged superbs outperform the normal ranged superbs and the crossover ones that were out before. They'll have better rare hones, and you'll still be able to get the 3-piece set bonus at the very least. Even if you can't push 6-piece, that's totally fine. The 3-piece set bonus is still a bonus that you get, which I think is like 5% skill damage bonus. Yeah, skill damage bonus by 5 for just having 3 pieces. Then you also get the new rare hones as well, which are better than the normal rare hones. So I would say it's absolutely worth it. If you're able to get it, I would get it for sure. I've developed my Pango and counter chips to level 4. Is it good for Garrison, or do I need to invest again on chips? When you say that I have developed my Pango and my counter chips to level 4, like is your Pango maxed here and you just have 4-piece counter chips or 4-star counter chips, or like what does your Pango look like? Yeah, no worries at all, Mosen. 70%. Thank you, Baguette. Yeah, 70% inheritance on the base attack and defense stats, but the 4-piece array and those things you'll get those at 100%. Holy shit! I can bet we have. Yep. I apologize for missing your messages, homie. Jerry, when did you send this to me? Was this in relation to something we were talking about earlier? I'm sorry if I missed that. Pango's maxed. Okay. So what are your chips are at level 4? Do you mean that you have like a 4-piece set, or do you have like a 4-piece set level 4? Or what do you mean by level 4? Sorry. I almost have all 3 on the top shop with spending around $200. I'm just curious if it's worth to push and spend more, even though I'm pretty sure I can't push the whole 6 superbs. I never had the intention of pushing the full 6 superbs myself, right? So I'm kind of in the same boat. I got the few pieces, or like what is it, like the 1 piece, whatever it is up here. I think this one. And then I got these 2 as well. I could push this one also. Again, if you get the 3-piece, great. If you can get the 6-piece, even better. Is it worth it? Absolutely, it's worth it, especially if you've already gotten the 3. But if you settle for the 3 is far better than none, right? Ask any player that has been a part of any crossover or collab event, whether it be like when Otachi came for the Beasts in the crossover event, Kong in the event, Titan in the event, the collab Rick pieces for Rider, any of those types of things. If you miss out on those pieces, you have to wait a long time before they introduce something else of equal or better value. So those are a few of those things where it's like it really does become FOMO, because you either get them and you get the advantage they provide and you have that advantage for a long time, or you miss out and you don't really have something comparable for a long time. We saw this with infantry early on when Marco came out. Marco came out and he had a 47% HP cut. We didn't see another comparable HP cut until Claude came out, and that was what, a year and a half later. So there's a lot of value to get there. Otachi, for example, still one of the best beasts that you can use, leading in field or supports in rally or garrison, right? I think that the value is absolutely there when it comes to the crossover events. 6-piece set at level 4. Are you 6-piecing at OC? I mean, if your Pango is fully developed and you have counter chips, then yes, I would absolutely use it in Garrison for sure. And you're asking, is it good for Garrison? Yes, it's absolutely good in Garrison. Once you get it maxed out, will it be better? Yes, it'll be better in Garrison. But counter is the most important factor when it comes to Garrisons, especially because it is the most effective stat to use in multi-rally and swarm Garrisons. It's also first set where we have 3 out of 6 or 6 out of 6 effect, and that 6 out of 6 is just straight up free kills when you proc a skill on the coin toss. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. It's the first and only set so far. Will there be more? Yes, absolutely, most likely. But the first and only set of its kind that has a set piece bonus, which is the 3 pieces and the 6-piece. If you play anything like Diablo, World of Warcraft, anything like that, they have set bonuses in there as well. If you have the helm, chest, and legs, arms, boots, or weapon, those are all set pieces, and if you have at least 3 of them, you get an added bonus. If you have 6 of them, your bonus is crazy, and that's exactly what's happening here in this game with the ranged pieces. Is it better to have one 5-star set of OCs, one 5-star set of OCs, or have 2 3-star sets of OCs? I would say that it's probably Rally or Garrison. I would say the 5-star set. You do get the bonus, the new bonus that comes when you have the 3 stars, 4 pieces, with OC chipsets and the 6 pieces as well. You do get, like, for example, on water, you get the chance to start proccing or getting stacks with corrosion as well. But the problem is it's a very low proc rate, right? 20%. I remember when I only had the 3-star for the 4-piece, I was all hyped because I'd be able to proc it with corrosion. And it was once maybe out of every 16 seconds that was happening. So it was very minimal. And then on 3-star, I mean, you get a flat 10% corrosion damage. So again, it's very marginal. Yes, you get an added bonus. Yes, it is extra damage, but it's very marginal. But once you go from say a 20% chance to a 40% chance and you double it, and you go from a 60% chance on combo to an 80% chance, now all of a sudden you are keep getting to max stats very quickly and maintaining those stats almost indefinitely. So the way that OC chip stacks work is that as soon as I trigger a combo or trigger this corrosion and it generates me one of these stacks, it starts a 6-second timer. If during those 6 seconds I generated another stack from this combo or corrosion, I proc that coin flip, that 80% chance, 40% chance, and it gives me another stack, I go +1 in stacks and it resets that timer of 6 seconds. So you can imagine that when you're down here, instead of at 80 and 40%, you're down at 60 and 20%. You have a far higher chance of not coin flipping and maintaining that 6 seconds that you have of high stacks. So you might get super, super lucky and generate, say, 8 out of 12 stacks, but then because your proc rate is 50% of what it could be up here, all of a sudden in one turn, you don't proc either of those and you lose all 8 stacks to your progress and stuff. So maintaining your max stacks is far more important than just getting this extra 20% bonus. So to answer that question, I would say that the 1 5-star set is better than 2 3-star sets. Godzuki. No worry at all. Would you do 4 crit arms and legs and 2 brain and spine counter for legendary chips, or 6 on legendary chips for your beast? If you were doing Garrison, I would probably do 4-piece counter and 2-piece crit. If you're going to do that, the raw counter and the raw counter damage that you would get is probably superior. But if you were to do the 4-piece crit and 2-piece counter, that also works, as long as the other set that you're doing is a full counter set. So like, let's say for example, in that case, I wanted to say run a Pango and Gaia Deer on Garrison. I would run all 6 chips normal gold counter on Pango. And then if I wanted to have the crit chance for my leader skill and stuff like that, I could run 4-piece gold crit on Deer, but I would still take the brain and the spine as counter damage because I'm dealing counter damage to all of those swarms and multi-rallies and stuff. So I want that damage to be high. And with that higher proc rate, I would also then be able to have those counters crit as well. Legendary Fragment, not OC chips. I'm using 6-piece OC chips for another Pango, but the chips are at 1 star. I gotta go back further on your question here. Yeah, I mean, if you're running counter chips, I would just do full counter all the way around. I would do full counter all the way around. You're saying that you're using 6-piece OC for another Pango, so eventually that'll get built up. Yeah, I would still just do full counter. The counter and the counter damage that you get is just, it's so beneficial. Because each of those counters that you deal, so you have to think about it. You have a higher counter chance. Then when you counter, you're going to get the bonus counter damage on top of it. So say you have 150% counter damage. Now you deal counter hit. It's multiplied by 150% because you're higher counter damage. And then say it crits. Now that bonus 150% that you have multiplied against it is then further multiplied by then your crit chance and your crit damage on top of it. So I would increase your base counter and counter damage high before the crit. Z, what would you suggest for a field player? 1 5-star legendary chip set or 2 3-star sets, so I could divide them into 2 marches. I would still do the 5-piece set for sure, because the reason why OC chips shine is that you generate the stacks to get to those max stacks. I don't think you really understand how strong an OC chipset at max stacks really is, because when you get there, you're sitting at 90% bonus corrosion damage, 90% leader skill damage, and 60% combo damage. And that's the same for water, fire, or grass. 90% leader skill damage, 60% bonus combo critter counter damage. So it's a ton of bonus damage that you can get to. And because field fights are so short, the whole goal is to get there as fast as possible and then maintain that. If you don't have a 4 or 5 star OC chipset when it comes to 4 or 6 pieces, it takes too long to get there and you'll never reap the benefit in field. What happened to your voice? You sound younger today. I have been talking so much for work. So I've been developing training videos for work to help train some of the employees and stuff like that. So I do like the analytical work, but then I generate training material and training videos to help uptrain individuals on the development work and enhancements and stuff that we put out. And I'm a perfectionist when it comes to those things. So a video might be a 4-minute video to record, but I'll record it 100 times just to make sure that I don't say or anything like that at all, right? And so I lost my voice last week pumping. I think it was just like 6 videos out because I had, and I shit you not, I wish I was joking, like 300 retakes just for those 6 videos. So my voice is going out for sure. What would you 1 5-star? Oh, I would still do the 5 stars. The 3 stars just give you a power spike. The 5 stars, like where you see the true potential. I think that the power spike, let me show you. Let me do paint real quick. What's up, by the way, Coco? It's good to see you. If I was to draw this out, and let me put it on screen like this. Okay. So if this is a graph, right? If we're gonna make a graph, and this is a graph of your damage gain potential with beast chips, OC, or regular chips, you're gonna start out around here. Well, actually, because they're gold chips, you're probably gonna start out around here. You're starting a little bit higher because they have really high like base stats when it comes to like the base combo, crit, whatever damage it is, right? Then once you hit around here, this is when you get to like 3 stars. You start to spike quite a bit faster because you're going to get that added bonus at the 3-star set bonus. So we could see that if we go to like say here. Oops. If we go to the array, and if we go to the 3-star in the array, you can see that we get this like whole second half of the skill here basically. So because we have this not only 60% chance to deal 39% damage or combo damage, but you get the 40% chance to do the 33% leader skill damage as well. Because we have that added bonus, we start to spike higher, but then it just goes up. Like not like straight up like that, but I'm talking like the curvature like comes out like that. And it's like around here is like when you get to 5-star. Because your bonus combo damage goes from 39 to doubling pretty much to 73. Yeah. So your first power spike is getting that second half of the stat. Your second power spike is taking that bonus stat that you have for the 4-piece array and multiplying it times 2. So there's 2 main power spikes when it comes to that. 3-star and then 5-star. And 5-star is just huge. So if you were to have 2 sets, you'd have 2 sets that look like this, and you'd pretty much be just capping yourself out around here in terms of potential. And I would prefer getting this part first. And then you could just run this with like a normal purple 3-star set, which you could get for really cheap or pretty easy. That's why I had to crack that freaking Coke before this stream. That's why as soon as I started the stream, I said, oh shit, I forgot to get my water. Because yeah, my voice went out, man. I'm only just getting it back. I hope you don't mind me sending you a message out of the blue. Would you mind having a look at my account? I'm a low to no spend, but I've been playing a while. I just want to check when I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. Is this the guy that messaged me on Discord? No, it's not. That is, is it? Vasily GR. Oh, that's this person. Were you in the stream by chance? Well, any other questions or anything at all that we can talk about? Like it shows. Actually, no, I didn't put it in the chat or in the title. I meant to put it in the title, but it was going to be too long. But I was going to put short stream because of that. And thank you for calling it out, Coco. I'm trying to be conscious, or try to be conscious of my voice so I don't fully lose it again. But do I even have that one? I don't even have that one. Can I get that? Can I get that thing by watching my own stream? Is that a thing? My Twitch. What's better, a 3-stat attack each at 4.3 to 4.5%, or damage reduction at 2%, 2.5%, and damage increase at 2.3%? I would probably take the damage reduction and damage, just because it's a multiplier of your cumulative total of damage dealt or damage taken, and there's far fewer places to get it. The few would be your devices, in terms of hones, and some of the basic attributes, like helmet gives some, and pants give some, and then your backpack. So there's very few places to get it and target it as a skill, but with every hero that comes out, like let's take for example, right? Let's go back to just, we'll even look at like Bella, right? So we see attack by 30%, and that's it. There's no defense or nothing like that, right? You go look at Elena, you see defense by 30, and you see, should be attack, I thought, oh, it's in the last one, 20%. So 20 and 30%. Then let's go look at a new hero, Metalk. Metalk gives 50% HP, 50% attack, and 40% defense. So you can see that in that time period, we have effectively doubled the amount of attack and defense, and now HP is involved as well. Bonus base stats coming from heroes, and that'll only get higher and higher and higher as the game goes on. You also get it from other sources. So as of within the last like 6 months or whatever, they introduced Refinery. You can get attack and defense from there. Even if you target squad damage and damage reduction in the lower quadrant of the item, you can still get attack or defense or whatever have you in the upper section, right? In the basic attributes. So I would still target the damage or the damage reduction, because it's still one of those stats that's very important, and you get it from far fewer places and sources than attack or defense. So I would go for the multiplier. Yeah, it can be higher bracket Mosin to be able to compete. It can be lower bracket to dominate your enemies more. Doesn't matter what it is. You just get more benefit out of the hyper focusing. Is it worth it to max legendary chips? I'm working on crit chips for Pluto Jellyfish, but maybe the money can be used better elsewhere. No, I think the Beast is still like one of the best places to do it. The thing with Beasts is that, are you a garrison or a rally player? I mean, even if you're not, even in field, Beasts are one of those things where it's almost like a true false statement. It's kind of like a hybrid of a true false statement and not at the same time. Your Beast is either on par with your opponent, so they mitigate each other and you're not taking a bunch of free damage, or you're extremely stronger than they are and you're dealing a ton more damage to their Beast than you are your troops, or your Beast is far weaker than them and you're taking a ton of free damage that none of your refinery, garage, armaments, anything can make up for, because it completely circumvents all that damage and damage reduction. So Beasts are one of those things you cannot neglect. So if you don't have at least 1 or 2 good sets for your Beasts, I would be working on those for sure. The other place you can target, like I would be focusing on things that you can target
getting benefit for, and stay away from the roulette type stuff. The roulette type stuff is your armament hones. You press a button and you get what it gives you. Yes, just take care of that over time, but target good stats in the refinery for your troops, and then target the appropriate chips for your beast. Target what you can target and let the game do its, gambling type stuff around like the homes and all that type of shit. I'm about to finish my bowl of OC chips. What is recommended to go for the assistant beast for OC? I do some rally and garrison, would like something most versatile. To go into for assistant beast for OC. I mean, your most versatile would probably be Pluto jellyfish. Pluto jellyfish, the reason why it's the most versatile one and the reason why I run it. So I have OC chips on my Pluto jellyfish and I have OC chips on my rally and garrison beast. Is because as a support, typically your support beast will trigger their support skill off of a combo or off of a crit, right? Pluto jellyfish is unique. It offers a flat 50% chance to deal damage, but if you trigger it through a combo or counterattack, it's 100%. And if you think about it, when you are on a rally, your rally is getting swarmed, so counterattacks are available there, which it does offer counter as a base stat while getting it up in its potential and stuff. Or if you trigger it through a combo, combo down here. I was reading up here. Combo or counterattack. Combo is going to come from the water OCs, right? So it's going to come from your combo chance that you get. So you're going to pretty much have always 100% chance to trigger that active skill. And the most important thing when it comes to beast pairing is that if your support beast isn't dealing skill damage, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're losing half of your damage completely as a whole. So the fact that it's able to trigger its active support skill both offensively or defensively makes it a very universal beast to use in rallies or garrison or field for that matter. The combo will benefit you in field, the combo will benefit you in rallies, the counter will benefit you in garrisons or anti-swarm. So they should give us a new hero skill transfer event. Yeah, I think they had it that one time, right? I think that they need to bring out more of it. Yes. Are physical OC chips wasted in the field? No, I wouldn't necessarily say so. The physical beasts are kind of like a meh in the field, like per se, because a lot of their skills are restricted to being in rally or garrison, but the chips themselves aren't, right? So like the 4-piece array makes it to where when the active skill deals damage, there's a 30% chance to grant leader skill damage 89%. That's higher than the water one, that's on par with the water one, the grass, and the fire, which is at 90%. And then here, active skill damage 69%. And then the second part of it, and physical damage reduction when in a rally or in garrison. So this active skill damage, actually, I don't know if it's intentional or not, because there is a comma, or there is not a comma. There should be a comma here. But since it's all a part of one statement, this shouldn't be proccing in the field. But if you look at the combat logs, it appears to be. So, kind of odd. I don't know if that's intentional or not, though. But no, I wouldn't say it is, because so the thing with the field is that your battles are so short that they typically last like 10, 15 seconds, sometimes 20 seconds, and your leader skill is dealing damage every 6 seconds. So in a 20-second fight, you'll still get your leader skill off 3 times. And if you have this set at the 89% chance, like even if you get that off one time and you stack that with say like the water OCs, which if you have max you can get to it pretty quick, 90% chance, that's 170% bonus damage on leader skill damage, which I mean this is 900% here, just like Pango has 900% in garrison. This is 420% plus 504% times 1 or 2, depending if you get the bonuses here. But my point being is that then, yeah, you take that, you increase by 179%, and all of a sudden you're dealing a fuck ton of damage. So you can still get usability out of it. I don't know if that last part of the physical OCs is intentional to work in field or not. We've seen IGG verbiage and behaviors with skills and stuff like that be odd as well. We saw that recently with like the Isabella skill rework, because it was working when it wasn't intended, yada, yada, yada. Who knows? But yeah, at least as of the time being, it shows in the combat log. If it's working or not, who's to tell? What type of squad equipment are the easiest to sell? I'm just wondering what the job I should select in the refinery. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't necessarily say that one piece is easier to sell than others. it's mostly that it doesn't really matter what piece you have. It's just this. It's just the attributes that people are chasing. You're gonna have less competition in certain ones. So like if you were to take a look at like the volume factor, you can see like the trading volume is lowest around vest and mask. So it could be, I mean, it's also hard to say. Like, is that because there are less vests and masks being created, or is that because there's so many of them being created that there's far less of them being traded on average, and so the trading volume is less? It's hard to say. Hard to say. But people are chasing the attributes, not like the specifics. Like, if you have a really good vest, even if everyone has vest selected, your vest is going to get sold. So Pluto is better than Chiron in Field 2. Yes, I would still say so, because you're talking like you can't defer from the original part of the statement. The original part of the statement said, what is recommended to go into for assistant beast for OC? I do rally and garrison, would like something most versatile. So I answered the question from a standpoint of versatility. Is Chiron extremely strong in field? Yes. Is Pluto extremely strong in field? Yes, they're both extremely strong in field. But he's looking for versatility for rally and garrison. And Pluto has more versatility than Chiron in that factor. And that's the problem with some of the advice in this game, is you can't take the advice that someone is given under a certain pretext of context and turn that into your own. Like, you can't apply it to yourself. Because he's asking about OC chips on lead and support beasts, and what support beasts would work if they got OC chips as well, for versatility, for rally and garrison, where you're looking for, is Pluto better than Chiron? Those are apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. What's the most effective way to get normal legendary chips without necessarily getting them passively from trying to get OC chips? The monthly pack, from what I saw, or the weekly, I guess. This weekly one is nice. They had a $49.99 one as well that had 60, and you could use and that's actually what I used my 2x coupon on. It was 50 for 60 chips. I used it 2x, so I got 120 for 50. So the weekly pack is good. When this one pops up, the chip challenge, it's really good as well too. Those are probably two of the main ones that I can think of. What do you think about the same beast if you put, what do you mean by that, Aka? I don't really understand that question. In the field without any transcends. I don't know. Without transcends? Not garrison, so that works. You wouldn't get the attack. You wouldn't get the HP. You would get the defense. So you miss out on 40% attack, 40% HP. With Me Talk. With Rubina, you miss out on HP and bonus damage. And damage reduction. I don't know. I would probably take Me Talk still. Because, attack HP versus, what was it, defense? No, HP. You still get the attack, though. I mean, it is quite a bit of attack that you lose, but I feel like the skill kit for Me Talk is better. The skill kit for Me Talk is better, but you lose more base stats. If you have good base stats and it's just the hero files that you can't do, but you have good armaments and stuff, Me Talk is probably the better option. If you don't have good base stats and your armaments aren't as good and you need the attack and stuff, then I would probably get Rubina, because both of them you miss the HP, but at least with Rubina you get almost 40% attack. So I'm building a fire legendary crit chip set. It would be better for me to build a Chiron or Pluto for field. I am building a legendary fire crit chip set. I mean, if you're building a legendary fire crit chip set, you're probably better just putting it on Chiron, right? And then putting Chiron as lead and then building out a second like purple combo set and putting another fire beast as support. You're building out a legendary fire chip set, then just build out Chiron. Because it sounds like you're on more of a budget. What do you think about the same beast if you put the same beast for Garrison, for example? Oh, you're talking about like a double. So like a double Pango for Garrison or a double bull for Rally. That is what you should do by default if you are a Garrison or Rally player and you're on a budget. The better option is to have leader and then a secondary element for a support beast. But the problem is that now you have to build two separate chipsets, which you still have to do anyways with the double Pango or double bull. But by running the same element, you can go into this development tab here. And when you do selective research and you select an element, if you select physical to get physical OC chips, you're also going to naturally get physical gold chips as well, passively. And that's what I did when I was originally going from my Pango chip OC chips first. That's what built out this set for me also at the same time, was selecting this one in that store. And then by getting those, it gave me all of these during that process as well. So you can build out an OC chip plus a normal gold chip set using that part of the Biohazard Frenzy in the development tab, selective research. You can do that. And it's the economic choice, basically. The most that you would get for your spend. I'm not too sure. Yeah, that is a question for IGG Hyde. You'll have to ask them what they do to determine it. I'm pretty sure it's dependent on the spend that you have in the game, because it'll also change what you have in your mysterious safe. It's like I have OC chips and these selections here. Other people have other selections. What can I tell you about Isabella? She's probably the best field hero, especially if you have leader armaments. Even if you don't have leader armaments, she's still an amazing support. Her leader skill is great because it's one of the few ways to increase squad capacity, and squad capacity is the best way to increase your damage output and increase your damage reduction by having a larger squad than everybody else. If you can only get a couple skills transcended, you really only need at least one, because then it takes your AoE debuff from debuffing 3 enemies to debuffing 5, and that is massive. I mean, that's a 60% increase to the effectiveness of that debuff. So even without any transcendence, and even if you're using her as support, she's still one of the best heroes in the game. If you can use her as lead with the leader armament set to get her leader bonus or awaken bonus, great. If you can transcend her to get the squad capacity, even better. But even with no transcendence, she's amazing, even as a support. If you could do one skill transcendence, transcend her first skill, and she's phenomenal. Okay, so having a look at my account, I'm a low to no spend, but I've been playing for a while. I want to check what I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. I also have Sakura. Okay, well, Sakura's not done, so we won't really worry about that right now. I mean, some of these aren't really done either, but for the most part, they are. So for you, I would be sending two marches into the field. I wouldn't be sending any of these 3 until they get to around 4 mil. This one's pushing 4 mil. This one's pushing 5 mil. So I would just play with these in the field. In terms of what they have, I mean, it doesn't look like you have any Garrison or Rally Hones, which is great. That's the one thing that you want to avoid. It's a bait when it comes to stats. So you're doing good there. Again, I would just play with these 2 marches in the field. Who would I send? I would send Miyamoto plus Julian in one. And then I would send Eileen and Claude in the other. That way you have AoE coming from both marches. But then you also have debuffs coming from both marches, and both marches would have the skills talent tree, so the HP cut coming from both of them would happen far more often. Actually, hold on a second. That is so funny. In your report, you are fighting... Hold on a sec. I have to see this. If this is true, that's going to be hilarious. You're fighting this guy. And he asks me for questions all the time. Is that it's the same person? That 29? Is that him? That is. That's so funny. So you're fighting somebody that's asking me for advice as well. I find that hilarious. Anyways, yes, I would run Miyamoto, Julian, Eileen, and Claude as 2 separate marches. Use these 2 armament sets. You'll be good to go. Your armament hones look good. You're doing good on your parts here. I would get your parts to all white on infantry first, considering you have 4 marches as infantry, and that looks like how it's your how you're building towards. So I would do white parts infantry first, and then do your backpack. In terms of what you have here, defense damage reduction, defense damage, attack damage reduction, defense damage reduction. I mean, that's fine. You have damage reduction in each of them. Preferably, if you're talking about doing the best that you can, if you're a field player, I would focus on having attack plus damage in each of these slots, because you can get to 6% attack fairly cheap. If you're a low nose spend, you can get it to 4% for pretty much free. And then damage, and you'll be around 8% damage and give or take like 20% attack. And you can just have full offensive stats. Damage reduction, defense aren't nearly as important if you're a field player, because typically if your screen goes red, you're moving back into your murder ball. And you're always trying to play with a white screen. So you're always trying to play in a position where you're dealing damage without taking damage. So defense and damage reduction is far less important. Leave that for the rallies and garrisons. Here it looks like you're 11 and 16, which is nice, but you're kind of lackluster in this section. It's going to get more, especially as a low to a no spend to low spend player. It's going to be very expensive to continue to get these higher. So I would get these to tier 3 level 1 at the very least, and then get all of them to tier 3 level 6 before pushing this. Reason for that is that your firepower and protection that you get from them is universal, so it'll work for your infantry. And for every 100 that you get, it increases your squad attack and squad defense by 1% as well. So you won't be missing out on a bunch of like flat infantry stats, but you'll get a lot more multiplier out of it. So in order, these 3 to tier 3 level 1, and then all 4 to tier 3 level 6, and then push this to level 16 attack, and then round back and then start doing those as well. Other than that, yeah, those are the small changes I would make. I would do attack and damage here, get these to tier 3, level those up, and yeah, you'll be doing fine. You're pretty much operating all purple chips. That's a good pair. That's a good pair. So yeah, nothing wrong with your beast pairs either. No worries at all. Yeah, I know. I found that funny. Would Isabella and Aaron be a good match for riders? Yes, very much so. I like running Sakura and Aaron because it's double AoE, but Isabella and Aaron would do really well as also, because for one, Isabella gets a bonus rage regen plus skill damage, and then Aaron deals skill damage and AoE every second plus has bonus rage regen also. So you get double bonus rage regen. Both of them give bonus skill damage, and Aaron does AoE damage. So she reaps the benefit of having very fast rage proc rates with the bonus rage regen, and very high amount of AoE with the bonus skill damage. So yeah, that would be an extremely strong pair to run. And if you're talking about running Isabella lead, then of course you also get the Isabella bonus for riders, which is the where is it? Yeah, she also gets AoE. So yeah, that would be huge. All range player, Isabella leader set around 5.7. Which AoE hero is most effective as assistant for her? Fully done Bard, Cedric, 2-core Ethan, and Nova. Thanks. I'm trying to max that March's damage as enemy targets my Sophie Aaron first. Okay. Let me think of that for you. Hold on. I would I'm just thinking because there are a few perks to a few different ones. You have Cedric and you have Bard. Bard would be cool because when you deal damage to the AoE, if it kills somebody, you get bonus attack, which would be nice. But on the flip side of things, Cedric actually cuts HP. Because it is Awaken skill. Reduces current target skill damage when he uses a rage skill. Yeah. So I would probably say Isabella Cedric. One, hold on, let me double check her Awakened as well. Increases the damage of grand opening by 20%. Yeah. So she becomes a single target nuke when she has ranged, plus she has bonus skill damage, plus she has bonus rage regen. The bonus rage regen would make it to where Cedric debuffs the enemy's HP more often, so you can debuff them to max HP debuff stacks faster because she has high rage regen. And then because she has high skill damage, he also gets very high skill damage here, which is also AoE. So I would probably go Cedric personally. So you could run like a Sophie Aaron, a Isabella Cedric, and then you could still run like a Louis Ethan at that point. And you would have AoE in all three marches, but you would have high fast rage regen in your Cedric to make sure that the enemy is debuffed by HP faster. So then all your other marches can shred them quicker as well. That's probably what I would do. What's up, Dimitri? How's it going? I am chilling. I need to consider cutting the stream soon, though. Holy cow, you can hear it. My voice is going out. Yep, no worries at all, Big Red. Oh, I forgot to set up my beasts. You need you. This is not my normal beast pairings for this. I don't know if I'll actually beat this or not. We'll see. I don't know if I beat it with this beast pair. My beast pairing is all messed up right now on this. Actually, yeah, I probably still do. Yeah, we're fine. Nice. That's death in the community Discord, by the way. Yeah, no worries at all, KGF. I think that there's pros to doing multiple different ones. Like, I'm thinking of that, like, out loud, right? Like, Isabella and Louis, for example, would have bonus skill damage plus bonus rage regen from both of them as well. So there's even perks for running a Louis. Bard has the bonus effect to where because he's using his rage skill more often, he may kill marches more often, which means he may stat or keep that bonus attack stack more often as well. I think that it's just going to be a trial and error where you play around with them a bit. A lot of it's going to boil down to where those fights are happening. If you're fighting on on territory or marches closer to home, the Bard one might be better because you don't have the move speed and stuff, so you're pretty crippled and slow. But that bonus stacking attack could be very helpful. If you're out on far away marches, then you want to make sure that because it's a long time for you to refresh your march and probably a long time for them to refresh your march, I'm thinking of like the chainsaw zombies and stuff during AR, then that HP cut will help in team fights and murder balls and that kind of stuff from the Cedric. So I think that there's a few different correct answers there depending on the situation and where the fights are happening, and it's not so black and white. I don't think you could go wrong by picking any of them, but I think it would just be situational is probably the best way to answer that. My intro song is a vibe. I love that thing. Thank you. Are you for Grand Zone IR? Like Apex? Am I going Apex IR? I think we're just gonna go wherever we land. I don't really know. Wherever we land is wherever we land. Have I even finished? I did finish 85. I could help him with 85 too, huh? Where is that? Again, I don't know if it's that's not right. Need him there, him there. This isn't the right beast pairing, so we'll see if this actually beats it. Cedric or Cedric Cedric, whatever it is. Brother, I've like ADHD and fucking dyslexia. Like, you're preaching to the choir, my man. I'm doing good. How are you? Doing good. Can we beat this one for him? Oh, nope, we're gonna have to retry that one. I'm not running Marnold Beast pairs. If this doesn't beat it, I'm just gonna switch it so then it does beat it. I'm trying to help him out. Bro, you were so knowledgeable about Doomsday. I've been playing for 4 years, man, and I've been asked every question under the sun, so it's kind of my job to know these things. Plus, the more that I know, the more my alliance knows. The more that my alliance knows, the better we do. So, okay, yeah, I need to switch up my beast pairs. Hold on. Before I help him with this. I need to put this back. I switched him up for Glory League. But that was a bust as well. Was not very fun. Oh, I did not mean to do that. See, quick equip. Quick equip. There. Oh, whoops. I didn't take it off here. Quick equip. Quick equip. There we go. Beast invade. Oh, no. This is the help one I'm trying to do. This one. And that's fine. Fine. Oh. Okay, I might need to switch. I can't remember who was on who beast-wise, so might take me a second to get this back in order. Okay, or just target my best march. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Dealt a lot of combo damage, or maybe we'll see. Yeah, I think we just beat it anyways, I think. Fairly sure. Get a good combo damage proc off here. Yeah, we got it. We're fine. This one is done. Let's see. I have enough frags to get 2 skills up to 5 on Cedric. How the fuck did he say that you were supposed to Cedric? Is it actually Cedric? Cedric. Cedric? I'm going to call it Cedric. Which 2 would you recommend with him as assistant for field? Let me double check, because I don't have mine transcended because I'm not a ranged player. I believe, because I remember this. I remember that this helps to make it a nuke. You get the flat 12% squad damage there, which is nice. Yeah, so you want to do first and second skill. First skill makes it to where it's a... Yeah, I remember this now. It's been a while, though. So the first skill makes it to where if you're only hitting one person, it does a fuck ton more damage. It's like 80% more damage or whatever it is for the additional damage. So that makes it a single target nuke or the AoE option. And then the second one here takes it to where you have that 10% bonus damage, makes it 12%, and takes away the rally requirement. So it's 2.5 red squad hones worth of damage for field all of a sudden, plus the bonus single target nuke that you get. So first and second skill. Tired traveling for work and barely sleeping with Region War. I'm in zombie mode. Are you a part of that Region War? Doomsday is one of the best games I've ever played in my life, but it's so expensive and time consuming. It definitely is. Those are gotcha games for you. Last, haha, if I have a better beast than my alliance, whale for garrison, is it smart to have me tank the rally, then switch them to lead after a minute or so for them to finish them off? No, because what ends up happening is that the majority of your really good performance isn't going to come from the health of the enemy beast or anything like that. It's actually going to come from the stacking of your chips. So what you're going to end up doing is that if the enemy beast has OC chips or anything like that at all, you're going to spend a minute of them getting OC chip stacks and getting max OC stacks. Then you're going to introduce your ally members beast with no OC chip stacks, and they're going to come in and just get 1 or 2 shot from those OC chip stacks that the enemy beast has, and then you're just going to remove all advantage that you have. So no, if their beasts and all that kind of stuff is better, just have them lead. If they're better, just make them lead. If the difference in terms of like your armaments and stuff like that makes it to where you can at least sustain the difference between you and the opponent, but then your beasts help make up for it in terms of damage, then, you know, then just keep yourself. That's why I'm, even myself, right? Like I'm not a max account at all. You can see here 20, 23, 15, 22, 22, 11 versus max garage. You know, we're both up there with like the armaments and stuff like that, but I'm leading because typically I'm doing better in beasts. Now, a big mess up part that he had here was that he had the beasts in wrong order, but that's, even if he had it the opposite, that would be why. You know, if we go to G1 and AR, that's why I'm garrisoning against even players like this that are same thing, maxed out. He's got the appropriate beast. He's, you know, building it out. It's because I have the better beast in that factor. You know, I have less when it comes to vehicles and that kind of a thing, but I make up for it in the beast factor, and it shows in the full reports, basically. So it just depends. If you can make up, if the difference between you and them isn't terrible in terms of your armaments and all that stuff, but the difference between you and them is huge in beasts, then you can really offset that with your beast damage and stuff, and it is worth it, yes. Who did I fight in Glory? Nobody. We didn't fight anybody. They went with the strategy where they knew where they weren't going to win, and so not a single player showed up. So we beat them 91,000 to 0. So now we're 3-0. We moved on to 3-0. And they didn't show up. So Cedric. Yeah, okay, so Cedric. There you go. Do beasts work like this in Rally Garrison, or do all stats reset when a leader is switched in tower? It's as soon as combat ends that it like resets. So like, yeah, you can like rotate the beasts out and stuff and it'll reset their HP because it's a new beast coming in, but you're going to reset your chip timer as well, or your chip stacks and all that stuff. But it's your beast combat ends as soon as combat ends. So in the field, it's as soon as combat ends, or where you stop hitting each other or whatever have you. And then in the towers and rallies, it's as soon as, yeah, same thing, as soon as combat ends. The difference is that in towers, your beasts in rallies and garrisons still keep hitting even when they're dead, whereas in field they don't, because in garrisons and in rallies, anytime that the rally or garrison is refilled by more troops, like another march, it heals the beast a little bit. So it does, your beasts never actually truly die in rally or garrison. They're always attacking. It's just that when your beast runs out of HP, they'll still keep fighting, but all the damage they take is dealt to your troops rather than to the beast HP. That's kind of the big difference. That's kind of confusing, and I apologize if it is, but yeah. Oh, I'm on 86. I need to try to beat mine. I need to do mine, actually. I think I stopped because we went to Glory League. Okay. Guys, my voice is very quickly and rapidly going out. Are there any other last-minute questions, concerns, reviews, anything at all that you guys need done? If you guys need anything else beyond this, go down into the description of the YouTube or the Twitch channel. There is a Knowledge Syndicate Discord invite in there, and that'll take you directly to my community Discord. I'll show you guys a preview of it real quick. That is this right here. This is a community Discord that I created for you guys from this YouTube channel. You can see that there's about 400 members in here, 340, 350, 360, 70. Yeah, almost 400 members in here. We have a general section. You can talk anything Doomsday or not Doomsday. There's a game guidance channel in here where questions are also asked. And then there is a pinned tips for all players in here. You'll see things like I created this zombie spawn location for AR map that has all the spawn points and coordinates, along with other tips. So like we have videos to reference for videos that I created, movement speed. Like it's just anything that we talk about in the game guidance discussion channel that ends up being information that can be used to help players of any level, they'll just kind of let me know, and then I'll come in here and I'll pin it in here. So this is somewhere that you can reference a lot of information as well. This is a newer edition. We started a refinery want to buy and want to sell section. So if you have pieces in your refinery that you want to sell, that you don't want to go into the refinery and have it listed and it might just slip through the cracks, you can actually come in here and I just give you a template down here that says post your basic attributes, specialized attributes, your attribute values, and the price for gold. Players will come in here and post about it, and then I ask them to delete the post after it is. So just make a message that it's sold, and I'll come in here and delete them. I've deleted all of them, but I have a few in here that I should have deleted from today as well, or yesterday. So yeah, you have a section in here where you can advertise product or items that you're looking for, and you can sell it without needing to list it on the marketplace. You can also come in here to want to buy, and so you can put in here like wanting to buy a vest, weapon, helmet, whatever. Same thing. I have a template. You just put in the basic attributes, specialized attributes that you want, the ranges, and the price that you're willing to put. And people can come in here and send screenshots of the items that they have that are similar to that, and to see if they have something that you might be wanting to buy. And then, yeah, you can set up a trade. So all of this is here for you guys to use, to learn from, to be able to talk to me while I'm busy with work. I do respond in here throughout the day as well, even though I only make videos and live streams every seems like a couple of weeks at this point. I am active in here. So yeah, feel free to jump in here and chat away. Other than that, guys, yes, exactly, Coco. I need to go get some fucking tea. So is it better to refresh your lead garrison squad or not really needed then? So yes, I would still do it. Because not even like considering anything else, the amount of kills that you get when it comes to garrison is all dependent on your ratio to the tower. So if the tower has 2 million troops total and you have 200,000 troops total in the tower, that means that you are 10% of the troops in tower. So 10% of the kills that the tower gets, you will also get as being a member of that tower. So I would keep it refilled or reset, just so I can, get your kills from the tower itself. But does it have any impact on your actual performance? No. There are those skills that say, like, when your squad gets under 50% or under 30% or whatever have you, it procs a bonus. That is a percentage ratio compared to the whole tower, even though it's effective to your march. So the time that it takes for your tower to go from 2 million troops to 1 million troops is the same time it takes for you to go from 200,000 troops to 100,000 troops. The the tower loses troops on a percentage basis. So you won't get it any faster by having less troops in the tower or whatever. So again, there's not really any real difference there that's made. It's just there's more benefits to cons there, is what I should say. I see my letter in that message. I don't know what the message says. I need to translate. Oh, good night, Brother Z. Good night, brother. Thank you for being here. Yes, like Coco said, I need to go drink some tea. So, again, appreciate y'all being here. Much love as always. Thank you guys for showing up and showing out as you always do. Go hug someone, tell them you love them, and I will see you guys soon.